Hello everyone, I am DreamShakes here to give you the rundown of the 1.1 update that has just been released. I'm going to go ahead and start this off. I do want to show you that now there is info about the characters in the lobby. When you click on them, it will show their abilities as well as all their times. You can pause the video and read these if you want to, but I've already read through them myself. I know everyone doesn't care about that, so just pause it if you want to read them. There's been a couple changes to the abilities, but I will show that all here in this video. Starting things off, we are going to get with the gameplay and map changes. I'm reading some of this off the update log, but some of this I have learned for myself. You'll see that as we go throughout the video. First off, map environments have been tweaked to look more like Halloween maps, so everything looks closer to Halloween now. It looks nicer, you know, closer to that Halloween feel. They got to get the spooky season running. It looks very nice, actually. I really like what he did with it this year. Next up, we do have that the red springs have been implemented in all maps. If you don't know what these are, there's 1 to 2 per map, and red springs will lock your position while you use them. So you still go up. It's the same as a normal spring, but you can't move around while you're going up. So red springs will lock your position, yellow ones still allow you some movement. EXE ladders are now more wide to make climbing less annoying, and there's also extra ladders in some maps, which it makes it more easy for Sonic.exe to get around. The game now fully supports PlayStation 4 as well as PlayStation 5, which is obviously a huge plus. I've played some Roblox on my PS4, but it is very laggy for me. Maybe not for some people. My PS4 is like probably, I don't know, like 5-6 years old, so it would make sense that it's trash for me. Maybe it's better on a newer PlayStation 4 or just a PlayStation 5. I don't know. You guys have to let me know in the comments. I think it'd be fun to play on the PS4 because I've never got to play with a controller for Sonic.exe, but some people do. There's now a new saving mechanic that will tell you when someone has saved you by stunning the EXE while being chased, and it will also tell the person who has been saved, or it will tell the person that's been saved as well as the person that saved them that they saved that person. I guess that's cool. It lets you know if you help someone out. That's about it though. Most of the game's HUD has been reworked. You can see the new icons have been updated. They're obviously different, but they're also updated for Halloween. And the HP bars, you know, they look Halloweeny as well. They got a little bit of orange tint to them, which I really like, and I think that's definitely very cool. You can also see now when you load into map, there's a little animation that will play, which I think is super cool, and I think it's just a great new loading screen in general, so I do love that. But we will go ahead and move on to the model changes. The model changes include an improved injury system as well as more gore, which you can see now the characters have like one red eye when they get hurt. At least a couple of them do. I have a few of them how they look when they get injured, which I'll show on screen. Me and Kuo went through and we actually did a couple things showing how the characters look now when they die. They have custom death animations now, which we'll talk about that in a second. That's in the animation section, but there's obviously model changes there. All minion models have been reworked and all characters have Halloween costumes. Also, I just want to say Cream.exe looks terrifying. Outlook made her the most terrifying EXE out of all of them by far, which I'm going to show all of these on screen. Personally, my favorite is Sally. I love the way Sally looks. I love the red fit, and I don't know what she's supposed to be. I think she's supposed to be like a clown or like baby or something. I'm pretty sure she's supposed to just be a clown though, but I think she looks great. I love the red fit. Red's my favorite color though, so that's kind of a personal preference. I like red Sally over blue Sally. My top 3 is definitely between Amy, Rouge, and Sally. I mean, Rouge's just looks good. Hers just looks good. The colors, the outfit, the hat, everything just looks good. And then Amy has the fangs and the red eyes, which looks super cool. The rest I'm not saying are bad, but I do think that those are my top 3. In my opinion, Knuckles is the worst. They kind of just threw some toilet paper on him and said, yep, that's his fit. He's a mummy. But at the same time, I feel like that really fits Knuckles' personality. He definitely seems like he'd throw some toilet paper on and call it a day. I talked with Kuo, and Kuo, who loves Tails doll, even said that he doesn't like Tails' outfit. He said it's too basic to him, which I can kind of agree, I guess, but I do think Tails looks cool. Obviously, they just all look cool. It's always cool seeing new cosmetics, but I'm getting on a rant. We need to move on to the animation changes. So there has been improved death animations. Characters now have custom animations when they die. I will show a couple of those on screen for you to watch. Some of them I have, some of them I don't. Yeah, you're just gonna have to see for yourself, so I will show those on screen right now. Alright, so those are all super cool to see, but there's also improved grabbed animations. So now Eggman can be grabbed. Eggman can be grabbed. You'll see him getting pulled away. Me and Kuo tested this one as well. Huge shout out to Kuo. He helped me get a lot of the clips for this. There's also like the characters struggle now. When they're being grabbed, you can see them attempt to struggle to like kind of get out, and it looks great. Great job to Owlick on that part. And one of the biggest animation changes we got to talk about, this is probably the most significant one. This could even go under gameplay, but I'm going to put it under animation changes for now. The characters now lunge when they attack. Amy lunges, Knuckles lunges. Like, the characters just lunge now, and it is, I'm not gonna lie, it's super annoying. You will get hit off so much stuff from Sonic because you think he's missed his attack already, but it will drag out for another second or two and end up hitting you, and it is so annoying. Knuckles and Amy, I don't feel like it's that bad, but Sonic's can be outright ridiculous at times, and I do think it needs to be changed back or at least reworked because it's not the greatest, but overall that is what it is. There's also this thing now that I believe Amy has a bigger hitbox when she swings, but she does have a longer cooldown, while Knuckles has a shorter cooldown, but his punch is not as big of a range as Amy's hammer is, which I think is a great change. I do think that was needed. Speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and talk about ability changes. Those kind of went under that. But ability changes include that Rouge now has this evasion ability. When you hit evasion, she becomes invisible to being detected by indicators, and Rouge also can now see when Sonic becomes invisible, so she can know when Sonic is invisible, and she can properly pop her evasion ability there to ensure that she can't be found for him. Tails now permanently has where he can glide up if you hold spacebar, at least on PC. I don't know about mobile because I only play on PC. If you hold spacebar, Tails will go up at the cost of taking more energy, but he can now glide up instead of just straight down, but you can still use it in that same way if you choose to. Amy now has hammer bounce. Hammer throw has been completely replaced. You now only have hammer bounce, but hammer bounce is honestly pretty fun. I've tested this out a couple times. You can get to a lot of places you wouldn't be able to otherwise, and he made it to where the further the distance you fall, the more bounce you get when you hit the ground. And yes, you can hit it mid-air, so that way like you don't got to worry about timing it or nothing. You just have to hit it mid-air and you'll bounce accordingly. I think it's very cool. I think it's a great way for Amy to kind of get around and probably buy herself more time to get back to her hammer attack, which I think is what he was going for, because a lot of people probably didn't hit the hammer throw. If you've already thrown your hammer attack out there, you're probably not going to be able to get a hammer throw off because you're not going to be at distance. So I do think this was the right call in some aspect, but I do think it does kind of punish those long-time players. I don't know how a lot of you long-time Amy mains feel about that. I'm not one, luckily. Yeah, it might affect some of you real heavily. Now, one of my favorite abilities that has been added is by far Shadow's tackle ability. I like to call it Yam Time, and I'll just show you some clips showing what I'm talking about.
Gotta check my watch, cause it's Yam Time! Someone tell that man what time it is! Yam Time! Get this poor sap up. Pop-Tart! 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 Have a Pop-Tart! Pop-Tart!
So I love Shadow's new tackle ability. I think it's so much fun to use, and to just actually be able to stun Sonic.exe as Shadow, I feel like it makes him a better survivor when it comes to helping the team now, this is probably going to throw off one of my future videos, but I do think it makes him way better at being able to help the team. It's definitely one of my favorites so far. I love it, and I love Pop-Tarts! Just let me know what you guys think about it. I like the tackle better than I do the block, but that is also a personal preference that some may or may not have. Now, moving on to cooldown changes, I'll go ahead and read these, but I'm going to put them on screen. If you want to skip ahead, I'll put a timestamp for that because I know some people don't care about this as well. Cooldown changes include that Sonic.exe can hold his attack for less time. Sonic climbing speed is increased. Camera max zooming distance is increased. Appreciate that. Knuckles punch animation speed is increased, as well as Amy's hammer attack speed is increased. I'm not going to say much about these. They're just typical cooldown changes. I mean, it is what it is. Now, moving on to hardcore changes. Hardcore has gotten some changes. Grab punch damage has been increased from 12 to 24. Minion damage has been increased from 20 to 25. Down blood loss rate has been decreased from 0.5 to 0.25. But one of the biggest changes you'll see now is starter survivor health has been taken from 100 to 50. You now start with 50 HP, but Sonic's attack damage has been decreased to the regular 65 instead of 100, which means you can actually go into 2-hit range, but you do have to have a Cream on your team. So Cream actually has a use in hardcore now, which is very interesting to see, and that's definitely going to affect the way people play hardcore. And another very cool detail I would like to point out is that Hemorrhage hasn't gotten any change, but Hemorrhage now makes it to where your character's noses are bleeding at all times. The models are always bleeding from the nose, which I think was a very good feature to add. You can actually see they're still bleeding from the nose sometimes if they just get injured, but now they bleed from the nose when Hemorrhage starts, which I think is a very amazing detail. Overall, I think this is one of the biggest and best updates that Outlick has ever done. I love the Halloween fits. I love the new abilities. The one thing I am going to say change is the lunge. The lunge is just horrendous. The lunge has got to go. But everything else so far is just, it's great. I love it. So that is my 1.1 update news for you. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a comment and a like down below. Thank you for being here, and I will see you all in the next one.